Good morning, besties. Welcome to another vlog style video. If my voice sounds off, it is early morning. A few years ago, I used to track every single thing that I ate, and I thought that discipline meant control. Today, I don't really track at all, and I eat and train to feel good, and my body has never felt or looked better. So today, I'm going to show you how I got there without the obsession. Let's get our shift together and start the day, shall we? Most mornings start slow, and I take a few grounding breaths. It helps me come back into my body after waking up from that dream state. Then I make my bed. It's simple, but it sets the tone. The space feels cleaner, and so does my head. Journaling has been more about checking in rather than writing something deep, getting thoughts out before the day starts taking over. And reading, even just a few pages, helps me focus on something real instead of scrolling. I've been trying to replace entertainment with education. After that, I do a quick mix of apple cider vinegar with cinnamon. It's not about detoxing, it's about supporting digestion and blood sugar so that I feel balanced throughout the day. I take my morning supplements, creatine and acetyl L-carnitine. Creatine has been a game changer for me, not just in training, but mentally. Most people think that it's only for muscle, but it actually helps with brain energy, focus, and recovery, which is huge for women too. These are just small habits that make me feel like I'm getting my shift together. Slowly, but surely. Alrighty guys, so this is quite literally me getting my shift together. As some of you guys from my Instagram very well know, I am trying to practice waking up at 5 a.m. I have one shift a week this month where I have to start work at 4 a.m. But also, I've been trying to make small shifts in my habits, my routines, my mindset, and we talk a lot on this channel about the big transformations, but it's the little shifts that change everything. Also, we have been blessed with amazing video quality yet again. Thank you to my friend who is allowing me to use his camera for the week. So you guys really have him to thank for the upgrade in my video quality, but also blame him for the downgrade in my videos when I have to return to my original camera. Just kidding. But anyway, it is time to get ready, so let's go. That's cold. Skincare time. Honestly, I don't use anything too crazy. Honestly, you guys have already seen my go-to get ready type of makeup in my last vlog. We're just gonna skip that part and make this quick. Oh. Alright, we are face ready for the gym, and now it's time to pick what we're gonna wear to the gym. And I see so many of these beautiful girls online that are able to wear these matching cute sets. I, for the life of me, just can't get myself to wear one. I don't know if it's just that I prefer a different colored top and bottom on myself, or if it's just that I feel the matching set draws a different type of attention in the gym, but props to the women who can rock those beautiful matching sets because y'all look great. For me, I am definitely more of a bougie on a budget type of gal, so I'm gonna show you guys a fitness apparel brand that I found on Amazon and have been wearing their sports bra pretty much day in and day out when I'm in the gym. I will wear the same damn thing every time because when I find something that looks good and makes me feel good, I will wear that piece of clothing to death because we want at least a little bit more variety naturally. I bought the same sports bra in 3 different colors, plus a couple other items. So what we're gonna do is a little try on haul and then pick what we're gonna wear to the gym and then head off for a workout. So this is the original sports bra that I have been wearing to death. As you can see that I've got a lot of self-tanner all over it. I probably might need to repurchase this color too, but I got it in white, this mauve, brown, orange. I also got a different style in purple just to try out another sports bra, and then some pants. So let's see which of these we will choose. Just to show you guys, this would be my typical gym outfit with the blue sports bra, and now we're gonna try on the other sports bras. So the brand I found is called Ureo, and I purchased these items specifically through Amazon. For some reason, it's a lot cheaper there compared to going through their actual website. Through Amazon, the sports bras are around $29, and their website it's around $39 to $43. Truthfully, the material feels high quality, and something about their designs just feels really flattering. If you've got bigger boobs than mine, these sports bras definitely feel like they can hold up through high-intensity activity, especially the purple one, and the straps are adjustable for all of them. They also have really cute leggings with a butt scrunch, which, come on, look at the way it contours the butt shape. I've gotten a lot of compliments wearing these pants, and the camera's not doing it justice, but trust me, in person, it's such a look. Alrighty, I think that this mauve, brown, neutral colored sports bra is gonna be the winner for today, and I'm just gonna toss on a hoodie and we're gonna get going to the gym soon. Also, if you see this was left here by our basement people, so for some reason it's in the room with me and we had no other place to put it. Like I said, when I like something, I will wear them to death. I've had the shoelace break numerous amounts of times, and I've just retied it instead of getting a new shoelace and just putting it through. Don't ask me why I'm like this, I just am. Literally broke my shoelace again, but I am just going to tie the lace and then tie my shoe like nothing happened. And eventually I will replace the shoelace itself. I'm only wearing these to the gym until I can change into my gym shoes. So ghetto. Ah, beautiful sunny day. So, not only do I have my friend's camera, but I am also truck sitting for him as well, so I am so grateful I get to have a vehicle for a week because I transit and walk everywhere. So when I can have a vehicle to drive, it just makes things so much more convenient and efficient. Also, someone tell me why filming makes everything take 10 times as long as you would regularly take to do something, because I would have been out the door like 3 hours ago, but because of this filming process, things just seem to keep getting delayed or just take such a long time. But anyway, let's get our workout done and I will see you guys at the gym. So let's talk about the fitness part of my journey. As I mentioned in my last vlog, I used to compete in bodybuilding, and my workouts back then were intense. I'm talking 5 to 6 days a week, each day focused on one body part, 4 sets of everything, plus 45 minutes of cardio, almost every day. For a long time after competing, I still trained that way, thinking it was the only way to see results. But honestly, it just led to burnout and boredom. These days, I train 2, sometimes 3 times a week with full body workouts. I keep it to 2 solid sets per exercise, and cardio is rare, mostly because I walk and take transit everywhere. What's made this approach so effective is that I'm hitting all muscle groups multiple times a week instead of once. It's more sustainable, more efficient, and it actually fits into real life. 2 workouts a week feels achievable, even for people with busy schedules, and it still gets amazing results. Walking and moving throughout the day keeps my body active without having to add extra gym time, and that's made maintenance so much easier. Now, I'm at ease with my routine instead of stressed about missing a day. I'll even drop into a gymnastics facility for a tumble session once in a while, just to move in a way that feels fun again. These days, it's all about being mindful with movement. If I miss a workout, maybe I go for a 30-minute walk. If I'm tumbling that night, maybe I pull back on strength training. It's about adapting, not overdoing, and finding what works with your life, not against it. And honestly, They say less is more, and I couldn't agree more because I'm in the best shape of my life naturally by training this way. Alrighty, so that was it for the workout, and obviously, to keep a fit and healthy and functioning body, part 1 is, of course, the way that you move it, and part 2 is the way that you fuel it, or what you fuel it with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take you guys to the grocery store so you guys can see what I grab for my staples. And honestly, we're gonna be in the store for like 2 seconds because there's really not much that I need to grab since I try and stay away from the processed things, and I also don't really make my meals too fancy. My diet is pretty damn simple, which you guys will see. But before I forget, I am gonna take some electrolytes, and the one that I'm using is by Element, which honestly, this brand is my favorite because there's really minimal questionable ingredients. The formula is actually science-backed, and if you guys didn't know, when you work out and when you're sweating a lot, you can lose a lot of sodium. So this is typically the one that I like to go to when I can get it. Last I checked, you can't get this shipped to Canada. I don't know if they changed it, I'll probably check, but I got this when I was in Seattle a couple weekends ago, and when I saw it in the gym, I had to grab a few because the way that I would be able to have these packets before would be to have a shipping address in the US, then cross the border, grab it, pick it up, and then go back. If I can order this to my house, I would love that, so I'm gonna take a look at that. But anyway, this is my favorite flavor, which is raspberry salt. And indeed, this electrolyte is very salty because it is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. You can probably take this during your workout, pre-workout sometimes I know people do, post-workout I'm having now, just because that's the way that I feel like today. It smells so good. The best way that I find to have this, I really love having it in sparkling water, and it just gives this like really nice carbonation with the flavor. It's so good. But today I am short on time and I would like to drink this now. So we're just doing flat water. All right, to the grocery store. Post-workout meal number 1. I kind of just went for the avocado already, so it's missing from the plate. I'm also going to be taking some omega-3s with my meal, and usually I would have a multivitamin as well as vitamin D3 and a magnesium bisglycinate capsule, but I just realized that I'm out, so all we have left for today is the omega-3s. Truly, nothing beats whole foods and single ingredient foods. I've come to realize that the more that I stay away from the processed stuff, the things that have a lot of sugar, a lot of sweeteners, a lot of filler ingredients or preservatives or artificial and even natural flavors, the more that they actually don't taste good. When you start eating a lot simpler, your taste buds will change over time, and things that used to be what you crave suddenly become either too sweet or you can taste the chemical flavors. Every time that I cook myself a good meal like this, it just satisfies me so much and makes me so happy. I do add apple cider vinegar to my ground beef, and some people may think that's weird. I like to add the apple cider vinegar just to help stimulate digestion, and the S.A.D helps break down the protein so that I can absorb all the nutrients that come from this meal. Take a look at my boiled egg. Nice and I would say medium boiled, because the center is still a little bit undercooked, which is actually a good thing because protein, if you didn't know, gets denatured by heat, which essentially means that heat breaks down the proponents of the protein, especially if you want to keep all the nutrients alive in the meat or in the eggs. It's actually best to cook it in a way where the yolk is still a little bit runny so that you get all the nutrients. I wouldn't recommend that for ground beef, but that's also why you can see some people are able to eat their steaks pretty rare. Searing it on the outside and then having it rare on the inside is actually the best way to keep all of the nutrients alive, and that's probably going to give you the best bang for your health. I'm going to eat a little bit of this, and then we'll start yapping about the meat of the video, which is my fitness journey and how I got to where I am today. I can't leave you guys hanging without the first bite. Look at that. I'm telling you guys, I literally eat this nearly every day. Unless I'm out and about, then I will probably have a burger patty or sashimi. And I'm the type of person who eats meals on constant repeat. This is essentially a staple for my day. The apple cider vinegar on the beef somehow makes it taste a little more sweet, and my body has come to crave that taste over time. All right, food is finished. Plate is clean. So let's talk about the real shift of the day, which is how I went from obsessing over every single macro to feeling free around food. I don't know if I'm ready for this long yap session that's about to occur, because it is quite the long story that is extending all the way back to like when I was fresh out of high school too. I'll try to condense it as much as I can, but just know that there may be a possibility that my explanation of a lot of things may not be cohesive, but I'll do my best. There's just a lot of factors that I feel have been pertinent to developing my mindset, my lifestyle today, that contributes to my overall health and fitness and the body that I have and the health that I have. Let's talk about how things started out. My diet and my mindset around food and fitness and nutrition definitely was not the way that it is now back then. And just to give you a little bit of insight, before I even started into weightlifting and fitness and more knowledge on nutrition, my diet in high school was eating whatever was available at the cafeteria. That could be pizza, that could be subs, that could be a lot of rice and like sauce heavy dishes. Every day when I would come home, I remember this so vividly. Every day I would come home and around 3 o'clock I would make kimchi noodle bowls so that I could watch the Ellen show with it at 3 p.m. I remember it would not just be one kimchi noodle bowl, it would be 2 to 3 because I could eat them back to back. Although that did not make me fat in any way, mostly because of my young metabolism, but also because at the time I was very involved in competitive cheerleading, a lot of gymnastics and flipping movements and stunting. Also the cheer team in high school as well. So I was on 2 teams throughout high school, which honestly I feel like helped to offset the physical effects of gaining weight throughout high school through eating that way, because I would also have bubble teas, I would also have candy, I would also have just so many different non-healthy foods. It was kind of crazy. I guess you could consider that part of the standard American diet during that time. Fast forward a little bit to after high school and when I could no longer do cheerleading because there's a certain age restriction to where most of the competitive teams, they don't allow you to be past the age of 18, so you essentially age out unless you participate in a open team category. Since I wasn't able to do cheerleading, I had to find another way of fitness. And I actually got introduced to the gym by my partner at the time. His name shall not be named, let's just keep him anonymous. But I was introduced to the gym at that time, and coming from a cheer and gymnastics background, I actually found the gym insanely boring. Like, I did not like it at all. I was like, why do people do this? This is like, not nonsense, but coming from a type of sport where it's a lot more dynamic, you're flying through the air, you're learning how to be coordinated with your body to do specific stunts and be flexible. It was a lot more fast-paced and engaging to me, and weight training was not. However, I stuck with it because that was what my partner did, and also simply because I had to find another way to move my body because I had always enjoyed being athletic. During that time, I was already pretty skinny and I didn't really have to worry about losing weight or anything like that. I began to lift for the numbers because being strong was what kept the fun in weight training for me when I first began. I also had this perception that a lot of people looked at me and thought I was just a small Asian girl who couldn't do anything, and so I found pride in the fact when I could lift really strong numbers, and that was something that they didn't expect. I remember getting into more powerlifting style training. So my style of training back then would be a lot of compound lifts, barbell squats, barbell deadlifts, bench press, and I actually got up to a decent amount back then. My highest squat was 2 plates, so 225 pounds. My bench, I got up to 135 pounds, which is 145 plate on each side. And then I also got somewhere around 235 pounds for my deadlift. That was just how I trained. And during that time, I also met someone at the gym. Her name is Julia, and she became my gym bae. And she is actually the person where I started learning about nutrition from because she had grown up her whole life being vegetarian. I found it so interesting, and you know, she looked pretty good, so I was interested to see what it would be like to follow a similar diet. And I think around that time too, I started seeing a lot of women be praised for being thinner, for having abs, for being a little bit more lean and shredded. And so that was something that I started to, I guess, want. So that also piques the interest in manipulating my diet and seeing what happens. And I also just was curious about how different types of fuel could make you feel in terms of health. And so began the experimentation with diet. I did veganism, plant-based, and vegetarian for around 2 or 3 years. Honestly, a lot of people ask me, how did you feel on it? Did you feel like you actually got healthier? Because I know there's this whole controversy between plant-based diets and non-plant-based diets. Like I said, in the past, when I was in high school, my diet was absolutely terrible. And to be honest, I think that was what contributed to all my pimples back then. But because I was coming from that diet, automatically including more vegetables, including more fruits, more whole foods, did make me feel healthier because of where my starting point came from. When I think back to it, I honestly don't remember feeling terrible on the diet like some people can feel, where some vegetarians or vegans become anemic or they are lacking nutrients. I don't remember experiencing anything like that. I only remember feeling pretty good, but I don't know if I attribute that to my young metabolism, to actually getting additional fruits and vegetables and fiber into my diet as opposed to eating junk food all the time, but that was how I felt on the vegetarian, plant-based, vegan diet. I think during this time too was when I first started experiencing guilt and shame pertaining to foods and diet, because when I first started out the vegetarian diet, it was quite hard to stick with because I was so used to eating foods that contained animal proteins. When I wouldn't stick to the diet, when I would fall off track, or when I would eat like a small bite of something that was an animal protein, beef, fish, chicken, whatever it was, or had something that had dairy in it, I would feel like I failed the diet, and so would begin this repeat of getting on track, then being off track, then being on track, then being off track, and feeling a lot of guilt and shame for not being able to sustain it. Because of that, this also began the time where there would be some sort of secrecy with food, where it was like I would eat well for most of the entire day, and then at night, in the privacy of my own room, or when I knew everybody was asleep, I'd go down to the kitchen, make my way down to the kitchen like a little mouse in the night, and open the fridge and start eating things that were off plan for me, essentially. I remember there'd be so many days where I just wake up hating myself for not being able to stick to a certain diet or stick to my macros. I remember being the person who would try and just burn off my calories and do a super hard, intense workout just to feel like I undid the destructive type of behavior by eating so late at night and eating things that I knew were off plan or not good for me. I even remember this time where I pretty much forced myself to go on a water fast for the entire day because I felt so guilty about the food that I had eaten the night prior. I really had no reason to go and do that because I was already still moderately thin because of my young metabolism. I think it was just the overwhelming feeling of guilt and shame that really made me feel like I had to do something to mitigate the food that I had eaten. That was just a cycle that just kept repeating and repeating and repeating. Eventually, I did sustain being vegan, and through learning more about food, through educating myself, and also learning how to make fancier recipes so that my food actually tasted good, and also finding like vegan restaurants and vegetarian places to go to too. Fast forward another few years and I had entered my bodybuilding era, also because that was a thing that my partner that I met at that time was doing, and he encouraged me to also give bodybuilding a shot too, and I thought, why not? I just like to try and experience new things, and that seemed like a challenge that I wanted to undergo as well. And I actually did my first show plant-based as well. I would say that the first show went really well, and I was on a high of placing second for my first show in the novice category. To be honest, during that time, because it was such a new and exciting challenge, I actually didn't struggle to stay on the protocols and the diet and measure my macros every single day and not feel like I was restricting myself. It was the second show after that where my disordered eating became a little bit more exacerbated. During the second show, it became more like this pressured obligation. And to be honest, I was not obligated to do this by anyone other than myself because I placed top 3, so I got qualified to compete in a pro qualifier show. And so I took that opportunity and then built this pressure of having to be perfect and on it all the time. And because my eating patterns were not necessarily healed, it definitely did get worse after this show. The second show that I did, the prep for that, I definitely remember, I did the second show pescatarian essentially, but I remember like adding more protein than what was on my plan originally, adding little bits of things here and there, snacking on like small things, and like not being 100% disciplined with my prep. Afterwards, I wasn't able to adhere to the reverse diet as planned. I believe that a lot of athletes do struggle with the reverse diet because they've been in a deficit for so long. Some people are actually able to stick with it no problem, but I was no exception to succumbing to the struggles and the challenges of overeating and then feeling even more shame and guilt for feeling like I had no control over my own diet. Seeing myself be so jacked and then seeing my body slowly regress to a, I guess, bigger state really scared me and really was something that mentally forked me up. It mentally forked me up as it does for so many bodybuilding athletes. Because of that, I had such a fear of letting go of all the hard work that I've done that I actually couldn't let go of the performance enhancing drugs that I took for my prep. I used it way beyond the time that I was supposed to without my coach's knowledge. I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out there that my coach never forced me to do any of the performance enhancing drugs. She just informed me that there's a category that uses them, there's a category that doesn't. Here's all the cautionary things that you should know about. You are free to choose. And I chose just because I don't know. I was curious and I wanted to compete at the higher level, and to compete natural in the higher level is definitely something that is challenging to do if all of the other competitors are essentially also using performance enhancing drugs. After my second show, I prolonged my usage because I couldn't let go of the body that I had. Eventually, I wasn't with the partner that I mentioned I met at this time. And then I was with my most recent partner that I had, and that is the partner who I actually learned about the carnivore diet with. At this point, I was still holding on to my fitness habits and my, I guess, nutritional habits with the prep that I had done, where I thought the best way to eat and to train was to have 5 or 6 smaller meals a day, and then also train 5 to 6 times a week, while also doing upwards of 45 minutes of cardio at least 5 days out of the week as well. With all this tracking, I was just so tired of feeling like I was kept in this box, that I wasn't able to leave, that I always had to track my macros to make sure that I didn't overeat and that I was okay. And it was just mentally fatiguing to try and keep up with it. And I remember just so wishing that I could be one of those girls that could eat whatever they wanted and not gain weight, and that they could eat to satisfaction, because I have always had a high appetite, and that's just something that has rarely ever changed since my whole journey with food and fitness. I remember way back then, like back in high school, my friend at the time, she had a birthday party and she had hot pot at her house. And while everybody stopped eating within 30 minutes, I continued to eat the hot pot for the next 2 hours while everybody was doing something else, because I just like to eat. That kind of appetite hasn't really changed throughout the years, and so knowing how much it actually takes for me to feel satisfied with a meal, I so wished that I didn't have to track, that I didn't have to cut my calories in order to just maintain a specific physique. I also knew the dangers of the performance enhancing drugs, and that was not something that I wanted to have to continue taking for the rest of my life just to maintain muscle and a certain amount of leanness, because I knew that if I kept using it, I am going to shorten my lifespan pretty freaking quick. And so my last partner and I, we heard about the carnivore diet through his best friend, and his best friend is someone who deep dives and researches and is all about health, and he does his research and like the deep dives on Reddit like no other. And he began the carnivore diet because he has fibromyalgia, and he basically went on this diet for I think around 30 days to 3 months, and was very vocal about how much it helped him. And so and I started looking into it, and we found that a lot of people actually thrive on this kind of diet. And I was actually super skeptical in the beginning because I took some schooling on holistic nutrition, and there they teach you about how fiber is necessary, fruit and vegetables are essential, and all of these things. And so when I learned about the carnivore diet, where people are essentially only eating animal products, meat, dairy, and animal fats, I thought that there was no way that that could be great for your health. And I was super resistant to trying because I thought that you're basically going to die of a heart attack. And was experimenting with it because he had gut issues, he has acne, and there were a lot of people who found success in healing those things through the carnivore diet. So he went on it first and he started seeing some results, and then I got curious. I thought that it's not really fair of me to knock a certain diet if I haven't tried it myself. That's why I began the carnivore journey for myself as well, along with seeing how people have healed their eating patterns and also have managed to recomp their body to be a super healthy and super fit physique. And I saw this as a pathway to getting me to stop using the performance enhancing drugs, as well as just fix my dysfunctional eating. At this point, with help, I decided to stop using the performance enhancing drugs and go on the carnivore diet. Because this was not too long after my last show, and also I had been using the PEDs up until that point, with the carnivore diet, I definitely gained a lot of weight coming from restricting myself and eating only up to 1,500 calories a day, and really drastically changing my diet protocols. So I'd be eating steaks, I'd be eating ground beef, eggs, butter. Kept the dairy pretty minimal, and then just eating all of these animal products really had a different effect on my body. And it's actually very normal for people to gain weight on the carnivore diet initially, depending on where they start. And for me, I was starting from a restricted phase. And so going from that and then allowing myself to eat until complete satiation on meat, of course, I am going to gain weight. That was a really tough time for me to see literally my body changing before my eyes in the opposite direction that I wanted it to. It was tough because I became extremely insecure about my body and about the way that I looked, and had to be there as a form of support to help me through that. And I remember crying on so many occasions because I hated the way that I looked. I thought that I was so puffy, yet the other benefits of the carnivore diet I definitely felt, but it was just the physical body that I was struggling with. And just like the vegetarian diet, it was hard to adhere to at first when you start to switch your diet drastically like that. And because I would bounce back between having a lot of fats and then having like cheat meals with carbs, it really wasn't the most conducive to my health and my body. And eventually, when I did get the hang of the carnivore diet, I found that I feel so much more mentally clear. Honestly, my skin is glowing. I haven't had a pimple in ages, and I did the carnivore diet for roughly about a year or so. Some of it was on and off, and then afterwards for a year, we were able to stick with it for the most part. And with the weight that I gained, I will post some pictures up here. I really feel that this is the case of something similar to Stephanie Buttermore's all-in journey, where she lived a life of restriction, of constant calculations, and then going on cheat meals every once in a while. She would do like 10,000 calorie a day challenges, and she had an insatiable amount of hunger, which I feel like I completely related to. With her journey, what she did was she began to allow herself full permission to eat whatever she wanted until complete satiety. With that, she also gained weight. Again, if you're familiar with her story, she had to go through that for a while because the restriction that she placed on herself before was not sustainable. After she allowed herself to go completely all in with food and eat how she wanted, her body found essentially a new set point. So it overshot in weight, and then it came back down to where her body is the most happy. And so with me, I found that that was part of the case where my body gained an insane amount of weight because I had come from restricted bodybuilding, restricted macros. And so my body was learning how to feel completely satiated again, and also how to properly utilize all of the extra fuel that I was giving it. With the carnivore diet, it's similar to that of a keto diet where it favors utilizing fats for fuel as opposed to carbs, since on the carnivore diet, you're not really eating any carbs. But I know that a lot of you may be wondering the same about, oh, what about your cholesterol? Oh, what about heart attacks? And what about fiber? And you're not eating fruits and vegetables? I'm not gonna be explaining the carnivore diet in depth in this video, maybe not even in another video. If you guys wanna find out more and research on the carnivore diet, then I highly recommend looking to people like Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Ken Berry, Kelly Hogan, Steak and Butter Gal, otherwise known as Bella, and Paul Saladino. Honestly, he's more animal-based, which means he does include fruit, but I do take away most of my principles now for health and nutrition from the carnivore diet as well as the animal-based diet. But anyway, it was through the carnivore diet that I began to have better control of regulating my eating habits and being more in tune with my satiety signals. Because on a carnivore diet, since you're not eating carbs, which can stimulate different pathways that triggers more hunger, people tend to notice that their hunger signals tend to stabilize on this particular kind of diet. Fast forward to now, essentially, like I said, I have taken into account most of the things from the carnivore diet and the animal-based diet that kind of makes up the nutritional aspect of the lifestyle that I have today. And honestly, before I wouldn't want to talk about any of these things because going from a vegetarian and plant-based diet to going to the carnivore diet, I had somewhat of an identity crisis in a sense where my beliefs around fitness and nutrition were essentially shattered from everything that I learned. And so I felt that I wasn't really someone credible to speak on the topic given the fact that I changed from one thing to the other. Nutritional information is always changing throughout the years. New evidence shows up and we're constantly learning about what actually makes a healthy diet. Now, instead of seeing it as I am not credible, I see it as I am credible because I am gaining more knowledge and information on a variety of different ways that one can improve their health and a variety of different ways that people can essentially eat to fuel themselves to be their healthiest self. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are so many ways that you can create and structure your diet that can work for you and your goals. There's no right or wrong way on how to do anything with your diet except eating all of the junk and processed man-made foods all of the time. That is what contributes to health problems and obesity and diabetes and all of these health crises that you see now. Taking into account everything that I have learned about nutrition throughout the years and experimenting with all the different diets that I have come to the lifestyle that I have now, taken the knowledge from the different diets to create the Rachel diet that I now eat every single day. Focused on single ingredient foods and very heavy on the animal proteins, the animal fats, and on the most part, I won't be going for the processed foods, the ice creams, the sugary things on a daily basis. But on the odd occasion, or a few occasions, I'll have a protein bar that is technically man-made, and I will have that, knowing that it is full of chemicals, but it's an informed choice, and that I know that when I'm eating regularly, I'm sticking to the whole foods, and it essentially is able to keep my body the way that it is. I don't restrict myself because this kind of diet allows me to eat until complete satiation, to where if I'm hungry, yeah, I'll eat a full pound of ground beef, or I will eat chicken wings for dinner, and then I'll feel completely satiated, and I don't track my calories anymore because this kind of diet really just works for me. Sorry, I'm just going to reiterate what exactly my diet is because I feel like I may be talking in circles right now, but my diet, again, is consistent of animal proteins, animal fats, and on every odd occasion, I will have some sort of processed food once in a while, or I'll every so often decide that, yeah, I want a piece of fruit, or yeah, I want to eat like certain vegetables, but most of the time it is kept to pretty low carbs, just because personally I find that when I pass a certain threshold of carbohydrates in my diet, that induces a lot of brain fog for me and also makes me feel very unmotivated. It makes me sleepy. It contributes to a lot of emotional irritability that I'm finding. For example, if I'm eating the way that I'm eating for quite some time and keeping it pretty animal-based or keto, I find that when I do introduce a carbohydrate that is something like a pastry, a donut, or a croissant, something like that, my mood swings tend to act up. And I find that I actually am a lot more sensitive to a lot of things that occur in my day. Whereas on the more whole foods, carnivore, animal-based diet, I do feel that I am a lot more calm about things. Another thing that I will add on the knowledge on the carnivore diet is that since it is similar to a ketogenic diet, a lot of people, when they initially lose weight on it, it's water weight. That is because, again, there are no carbs being eaten. 1 gram of carbs holds around 3 grams of water. If you're not eating carbs, then the excess water flushes out. Some people knock the carnivore diet and the weight loss that occurs on the carnivore diet, saying,
oh, it's just water weight, it's just excess water.
But why would you want excess water on your body? I don't know. Some people, I just feel like, do your research. But anyway, that is what helps contribute to me being fairly lean now, is because I don't hold a lot of water. I do drink enough water, and I make sure that my fluid balance and my electrolyte balance is right, adding more salt to my meals or taking electrolytes. Overall, this diet has really helped me feel my best and look my best, because not only am I eating whole foods and less of the chemical products, I'm also getting a lot of natural nutrients, because there's a lot of natural creatine that occurs in meat. There's a lot of taurine. Meat is one of the most nutrient-packed things that is bioavailable for the body, especially with my meals being so protein dense. It really helps me build muscle. Going back to the processed food talk, eating this way has allowed me to give myself permission not to be perfect. I feel like it can be a problem when you over-identify with the way that you eat, whether that's vegetarian, whether that's carnivore. And to be honest, when either party is so concerned about
what is the healthiest fruit,
there's a variety of things that are actually harmful for your health. Toxins are everywhere. They're in plastic, man-made foods, the air that you breathe. And so it's really about reducing the amount of toxicity, not excluding all of the toxicity completely, because I don't think that that is actually possible. When I do choose to consume man-made foods, it is an informed choice. I know that through eating these things, it probably won't help me feel my best, but that I'm okay with that occasionally, because I too like to enjoy myself and live life a little. With the way that I eat now, since I pretty much in each meal eat until I am satisfied, I see no need to break my meals up to eat multiple times throughout the day. I typically now eat twice a day, and it'll be from afternoon to evening. I'll have my 2 meals sometime in between then, and I find that I rarely now binge. And when I say binge, I rarely do like a full-blown binge like I would in the past, having, like, there would be times where I would have like a 12-pack of donuts to myself and go on an adventure to find like a chicken sandwich, and then go find snacks to bring home with ice cream and chips and all of these other things. I don't find that I need to do that. And if I eat or binge now, it's not really a binge. It's more so that I had my 2 meals and then suddenly I'm feeling snacky for like a protein bar that I will have at night. And that's pretty much the extent of going off track or beyond what I originally intended to eat for that day. So that's how it is in terms of my diet. One other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of what I feel has actually helped contribute to me being the person that I am, with this body that I have, and also this health that I have, is the mental aspect of it. Because the way that you feel around food, whether you fear it or you feel no stress about it, really makes a difference. I really feel like it all happened super quick, that my body just decided to release all of the stress that it had, not only around food, but of my last relationship as well, and then turned into the body that I have now, essentially. I really feel like that was a product of gaining happiness for myself again. During the latter half of my relationship, I was actually undergoing a lot of mental and emotional turmoil based on like my personal feelings and thoughts and frame of mind at the time. And so after the breakup, it basically sent me on this personal development journey, and I feel like I released a lot of emotional weight from that time. I started focusing on my personal hobbies again, my own friendship circle again, and feeling supported by so many of the people in my life, and gaining back my independence, which I feel has really helped me come home to myself and thrive. Because of all that, it contributed to this bigger picture of feeling like myself again and letting go of what no longer serves me. Sorry guys, my memory card ran out of space because that is how much we have been yapping. When you are stressed, when you are depressed, when you are going through a lot of emotional turmoil. Again, the higher cortisol that you have, the more that you hold water, the more difficult it is to lose weight. Conversely, when you let go of stress, when you're so focused on the things that now make you happy instead of the things that make you sad, and those things then contributing to a higher sense of self-worth and security, your body will have an easier time to let go of excess weight because it's not necessarily in survival mode anymore. When I started gaining my sense of self back through investing my time and my energy into the hobbies and things that actually contributed to bringing me joy, I also feel like it increased my self-worth to the point where I actually stopped focusing on weight loss and physicality as the number one priority, or like one of the top 3 priorities, and then was able to realize all the different aspects about myself that makes me unique, that makes me a dope ass person. Like I said in the previous vlog, that sometimes when you focus so much on what a food will do to you and constantly worrying about losing weight, it keeps the weight on you in a sense, spiritually and emotionally somehow. I'm not doing the best job at describing this, but when a majority of my brain no longer was concerned about trying to lose weight all the time, that is when the weight just came off. Instead of working out to lose weight, it was working out just to be healthy and to move. Instead of eating to restrict and constantly be smaller, it was to eat to nourish myself instead. I started to have a better mindset that losing weight was not the most important thing in the world to me anymore. A huge mental shift that I needed to break out of was before, when I would constantly try to lose weight, my brain essentially was telling my body that I have weight to lose, I have weight to lose, I have weight to lose. And your body will believe what your mind tells it. So in that sense, I feel like it keeps the weight on you when your belief is always that you have weight to lose. Now, I know that some people actually have weight to lose, and it's not about just brainwashing yourself into thinking that you don't have weight to lose. It's about shifting your mindset to be compassionate with where you are while also doing things out of love and respect for yourself, moving your body because you respect yourself, and also eating healthier than you are now because you respect yourself. In terms of what I now tell myself every single day, I tell myself, there is no world where I am not fit. There is no world where I am not athletic. I will always be athletic and I will always be fit and healthy. And sometimes that can be hard to tell yourself if you in the mirror don't really feel that way, but meeting yourself halfway and maybe saying that you are on your way to becoming a healthier person is really going to help shift your perspective and make it easier to identify with being a healthier person versus an unfit person. So to round up this fitness journey of mine and how I got to where I am today is, 1, nutrition-wise, I am protein focused in my meals, animal proteins, animal fats, and I keep my carbs pretty low to moderate, as well as the processed junk to a minimum as well, which actually helps me have an easier time training because now I only need to train 2 to 3 times a week, and I actually don't have to try as hard in the gym to lift insanely heavy or to do a super grueling hard workout to have a healthy looking and fit body. Thirdly was the mindset shift that occurred post-breakup, getting back to my independent self, having fulfilling friendships again, and finding the joys in life that contributed to overall happiness and took me out of depression and emotional turmoil. Also helped to release emotional weight, and not having weight loss as the primary focus and having that mindset shift really influences the way that I live today, so that I have a healthier perspective on fitness, health, and nutrition in general. And because I have this more positive perspective now, even during the times where I do slip up and I do have things that I know aren't really conducive to good health or making me feel my best, I'm a lot more compassionate with myself about it. And aside from that, that is all that I do. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that I was able to explain that in a way that was understandable. Honestly, when I edit these clips together, there's probably a lot that I'm going to have to cut out and to try and put together in a fashion where it will be easily understood. But I hope that you guys were able to take away something from it. I am just going to put this as a disclaimer that I am simply explaining that this is what I do for my personal life and my body, and I am in no way saying that this is the way that you need to live or the way that you need to do things, other than, you know, not eating the standard American diet. Again, there are a multitude of ways that people can arrive at their goal body. This is just how I arrived at mine. I hope that was helpful for you guys, just to know a little bit more on my story and how I arrived here. I feel like it's so easy to look at someone who looks fit right now and think, damn, like that's just how they are. But we fail to realize that a lot of people have had such a struggle to get to where they are today, and that they've had their own journey with it as well. So hopefully you guys took away something from it, and I hope that it was cohesive. But now I'm gonna go ahead and edit some parts of this vlog on my laptop, and I will see you guys for dinner. Alrighty, dinner is a delicious plate of air-fried chicken wings with just salt, which is another staple of mine that I typically have multiple times throughout the week. It just gives a really nice crunch and satisfies my snacky finger food type of cravings while supplying me some nice proteins and fats. I also love that it is shaped kind of like a heart. I also love this part because it gets super crispy. I am probably going to finish these off, and that'll conclude what I eat for the day before I go to bed. And if you haven't already, please go check out my podcast playlist, because over there, if you are interested in personal development, interested in mindset, then definitely go ahead and take a look at that playlist. I have a decent amount of videos that might be able to help you out based on the situation that you might be in. That'll probably be it for the night, so subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.